jazzing up your day with a touch of soul. The Living Room on 938 Live.
Welcome into the Living Room on 938 Live, and this year marks the 10th anniversary of Read Singapore, the nationwide reading campaign by the National Library Board, and it's celebrating this milestone with the inaugural Read Fest, which began on the 20th of June, I believe, and this year Read Fest is themed Books That Moved Me. Well, given it's the first time, the theme is Books That Moved Me, and there are loads of things happening for this 10th anniversary of Read Singapore. You can go on a literary trail led by writers, you can be awed by these redesigned book covers of familiar classics inside MRT trains, or you can come face-to-face with local authors at book parties, and these are just some of the things we'll get the experts to tell us more about it. With us today is NLB spokesperson, or the National Library Board's spokesperson, Chan Sing Ying, and author Adan Jimenez. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let's ask Sing Ying. 10 years, wow, that's a big deal.
Yes.
So has it been busy times to sort of try and do something special for the 10th anniversary, obviously?
For this 10th anniversary, we actually have this anthology that we feature 20 past stories from our past collections. And these stories are selected because we think that they are most impactful and they are very well received by the readers. So in this collection, we actually also feature 10 commissioned poets from local authors, and then we actually ask them to write poems that actually convey their personal memories and sentiments about reading.
So how did you pick these books? First, you talked about how 10 of them are the most popular, so
it's
depending on how
20
20 of them, how dog-eared they are from your various libraries?
We actually have, because our book...
Most borrowed.
No, actually, for these stories, we actually have different collections of anthologies, and we gave it out to the reading clubs and even to publics to read. So this is actually some feedback from the reading clubs that say that, these stories have moved them to tears and stuff.
Because I can imagine that it'd be hard to pick,
yes,
given that there are
hard.
so many books out there.
We
right?
actually have a book selection committee for all different languages, and they really read through all the stories from the past collections, and these are the ones that still move them till now.
Right. Okay. So why did NLB decide to organize literary trails? This is where authors can take people around to see some of the locations that are included in the book, or...
When I was thinking of this, because we have this youth book selection committee that selects the stories, and when they picked these two stories, Nini in Changi Village and Sherlock Sam and the Missing Heirloom in Katong, I was looking through and thinking that it would actually be a good experience for the readers to go through and visit these places that the authors mentioned in the books. And because some of the places, like for example Katong, it has a very strong Peranakan culture, then I think that this will attract the younger readers and even their parents. And as for Changi Village, there's always this rustic and mysterious feel about it that I think that parents even nowadays...
City dwellers should find out more about, right?
Yeah, and not just that, but because Changi Village, there's a lot of things that have been changed. Like from what I read from the book Nini in Changi Village, and from what I see now, there's a lot of difference. And I think that if the authors can bring the readers down, she can actually point out that where these places were, and like let the people know that these places actually existed.
Right. So, okay, these are the two, Nini in Changi Village and Sherlock Sam and the Missing Heirloom in Katong. Now, we're graced by the author of that particular book, Adan Jimenez. Thanks so much for joining us today. So, tell us a bit more about this literary trail at Katong. You'll be showcasing some of the places that you talked about in the book and perhaps taking us through along with Sherlock Sam.
We'll be going through a lot of the historical areas in Katong, some of which are in the book, some of which we almost put in the book. So not only will the kids be able to see, and their parents be able to see, all these really cool places in Katong, but also go a little bit through our writing process of how we, because I co-write the books with my wife Felicia, and so a bit of our writing process of how we decide what to put in, what to leave out, unfortunately, what we can't put in for whatever reason. And yeah.
Did you sort of go on a trail first with your wife to figure out what was going to go in the book? Or
yes.
Was it just imaginary and then, look at that, turns out it's real?
Well, actually, Felicia grew up in Katong when she was when she was very young, so she knew a lot about it already. And then when we were first going out, she took me there a few times. And I really...
So you are Sherlock Sam, perhaps? Or maybe she is.
Yeah,
okay.
I think she might be, yes. And so, yeah, we went around and I got to know it as well. And we lived there for a bit, or nearby for a little while after we got married. And so we decided that would be a perfect place to set the first book.
So this is great because it's a collaboration of someone who knows the place so well and someone like you, where it was sort of, you had fresh eyes looking at the place as Felicia tried to tell you about it.
Yes.
Excellent stuff. So why write a book about Katong, though?
Well, I think for the Sherlock Sam series, what we do is every book is set in a different part of Singapore, and we just kind of want to show kids that there's a lot of really cool stuff in Singapore. So there's our mystery story that Sherlock goes around and solving mysteries and stuff, but also he does it in all these really neat places that maybe a lot of people haven't heard about. And we've actually gotten a lot of kids who have gone on their own literary trails. They take our books and they kind of use them as a travel guide almost, and they go and and they
treasure map.
Yeah, and they go
X marks a spot.
Look at all these places, and it's really cool to know that they do that. Yeah. So when the library approached us for this, we were like, yeah, let's do like an official one.
Are there concerns, though, as the series progresses, that we're a small country, we're just a red dot, that you might run out of places to where X marks the spot?
Maybe, but I guess then we can, because Singapore changes so quickly, also we can
That's
actually
true.
go back and redo it once some of the things have changed. But
Yeah,
also,
version 2.0.
Yeah, but also, there are a lot of really cool places in Singapore that we haven't explored. Like we're only up to book 6 now. We're writing book 7.
Only book 6, yeah. Mm.
And so, there's still a lot of places, and we will be going overseas a bit with the kids, with the characters of the books. So we'll go overseas and then come back to Singapore, and so we'll have lots of places to set mysteries in.
Adan Jimenez and his wife wrote the book Sherlock Sam and the Missing Heirloom in Katong. You can actually head on a trail with them to figure out some of the places that appear in the book and what really happened, I suppose. It's sort of an expose of what's happening with Sherlock Sam. This is all part of the 10th anniversary of Read Singapore, which is the nationwide reading campaign by the National Library Board. More with Adan and also with Chan Sing Ying, who is the NLB spokesperson, in a bit. Stay with us on The Living Room.
The Living Room on 938 Live. Time now to rejoin The Living Room on 938 Live.
Thanks for staying with us on The Living Room on 938 Live. And when was the last time you picked up a book? Oops. This year marks the 10th anniversary of Read Singapore, the nationwide reading campaign by National Library Board, and it celebrates this milestone with the inaugural Read Fest. Some of the things happening for this 10th anniversary of Read Singapore. For example, you can head on a literary trail led by the writers of the books themselves. For example, Sherlock Sam and the Missing Heirloom in Katong. We have author Adan Jimenez with us today. He'll be leading a trail along with his wife, who co-wrote the book, at around the Katong area. And this is on the 12th of July. I'll give you registration details in a bit. It's from 10 in the morning to 12:30 p.m. And he'll take you around the Katong area to find some of the treasures that he's figured out and included in the book. And you'll have a great time discovering this enclave if you've never sort of really explored Katong. You're a city dweller like me. I stay in Bishan, and that's the extent of my universe, which is sad. We also have with us NLB spokesperson Chan Sing Ying, who's joining us today to tell us a bit more about some of the things that people get involved with, can be involved with. So, for example, there's the literary trail. What else can people take part in? It's the 10th anniversary of Read Singapore, after all.
We have the book parties. The one that's coming up is on 13 July. It's called Humor is Serious Business, where we have local authors. Why? Yeah. We have local authors, and they'll be talking about because some people said that Singaporeans don't know how to laugh at themselves and we are too serious. So we actually want to feature this point that actually Singaporeans are humorous too. So we actually invited some of the authors down to chat with us and have a little
Make
discussion.
fun of people, maybe?
Maybe on themselves.
Okay, so that was the whole point of it too, right?
Yeah.
Also,
other than this, we also have print screen, where we have movie screenings that actually read Singapore novels that have been adapted into movies. We're going to bring them into the libraries. And so for July, we have Red Cliff, Starry Night, The Help, and The Kite Runner. So you can just check out our Go Library and you'll be able to find out more about the details.
That's nlb.gov.sg/go library, right?
Yeah.
That's also the website you can head to if you'd like to register to go on that literary trail with Adan Jimenez. It's Sherlock Sam and the Missing Heirloom in Katong. That's the book that the trail is based on, so to speak. So given that it's the 10th anniversary of Read Singapore and the inaugural Read Fest is themed Books That Moved Me, maybe Adan, you could tell us what the earliest memories of books you have.
The earliest memories of books I have are probably reading the Nancy Drew mysteries. Yeah, when I was a kid, I love those things. I read as many as I could, and I probably reread a bunch of them as well. Yeah, so and then like both Felicia and I, we read a lot of mysteries when we were kids, which is why we were.
No, we can't tell. Sherlock Sam.
Yeah, that's why we were writing those. Yeah. So yeah, those are probably the earliest memories. My mom used to read me books when I was too young to read. She'd read me in Spanish. She'd read me stuff in Spanish, and that was very nice.
What about you singing? Earliest memories of books? Books that moved you, as per the theme.
I remember reading Annie Blyton stories, and I like the Faraway Tree and the Magical Adventures and other things like Mallory Tower series. Yeah, it's like all the schoolgirls and yeah.
Probably you could relate to that, that's why. And then boys tend to like the mysteries and so on,
Yeah,
Famous
probably.
Five and so on. Yeah, I read those too. It's amazing how, complete strangers like the three of us will realize that we have these common threads when it comes to books and books that we remember. So that was the whole idea of Read Fest, I'm sure, singing.
Yeah, it is. We actually want to bring people from all walks of life so that they can actually not just through reading, but also like they can share about their books and their memories.
As an author, Adan, are you seeing perhaps reading might not be as prolific as it used to be?
No, I don't think so. I think, that there seems to be a lot of like people being scared that not enough are reading or shorter attention spans because of various digital things or whatever. But no, I think a lot of people are still reading. As kids especially, we do a lot of school talks, and all the kids are very excited to meet like authors, and they're excited to write their own stuff. We do like writing workshops, and they're very well attended, and yeah, kids seem to have a lot of fun reading and writing. So no, I don't think people are not reading anymore. I think they just might be moving away from the physical book, perhaps.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you as an author what your stand is on that. Some people still love the smell of that old book and the physical holding of a... I freak out because I don't want to break the back. So I have that OCD thing going on. So it's rather uncomfortable if you're holding a thick book in that manner. So I love that we can read books now on electronic devices. But what about you, Adan?
Well, as a reader, I still prefer the physical book, and I think I will until the day I die.
Okay.
But anything that makes reading easier is good.
As long as people read,
as long as
right?
people read, it's good. So I'm happy for anyone to read whichever way they want, whatever they want to read.
However. Right. What about you, singing?
Yeah, I still prefer physical books actually.
Okay.
I still like the feel of it,
Yeah.
and like you can fold the pages when you're halfway through.
Okay. Dog-eared books, oh dear, for the OCD, it's terrible. Yeah, but so both of you still feel that the physical book is something that you enjoy holding on to whilst reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good to us. The 10th anniversary of Read Singapore, and also the inaugural Read Fest, which started on Friday, the 20th of June. Loads of things you can get involved in. For example, a literary trail led by the writers, which is what Adan Jimenez will be doing along with his wife. They wrote the book Sherlock Sam and the Missing Heirloom in Katong. Keep getting that wrong. What's wrong with me? You can go to nlb.gov.sg/go library to register if you'd like to go on an interesting sort of treasure hunt trail at Katong along with Adan Jimenez and his wife, because they wrote the book Sherlock Sam and the Missing Heirloom in Katong. So thanks again for joining us today. The NLB spokesperson is Chan-Sing Ying and author Adan Jimenez. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Looking at life from a different perspective. The Living Room on 938 Live.